You see what we're working on in the title. Remove those covers to those sensors, unplug them. There's a little lock pin on them. You slide it up, pop it off. You got 2 of them on the front of the engine. Do the same thing on the other side as well. 10mm lock pin, slide it up, squeeze, get the plug off. You also want to remove that hose, connect to the air intake. You just pull those yellow clip apart, and then you got it. You want to remove this wire harness from the alternator. Now we'll be removing the plugs to the ignition coils. Slide the little red pin back, squeeze, slide. Next, we're going to remove all the retaining screws that are holding in the harness of the ignition coils. You want to reverse thread to get those loose, pop those off. Next, you want to remove that 10mm that's holding down the air intake hose. We're going to get that out of there. Next, you got a 7mm. You're going to remove that from both sides of the air intake hose and pop it off. Next, you have that one last screw holding on the ignition coils, and your harness will be free. Next, we'll be removing the ignition coils, 10mm, 4 bolts, get it out of there. And now we're going to slide off that hose on our right side of our valve cover. Now we're going to identify all the bolts we need to remove to get the valve cover loose and eventually taken off. There is 18 in total. Make sure you keep count and don't lose them. I like to organize them in a certain way. You cut holes into a cardboard or whatever you want to do to keep them organized. This was one that was hiding that I missed. Trying to take it off. It's back here on the right corner. Next, you want to take some type of flathead or a pry bar. Try to crack it on all sides or most sides that you can to make it easier to remove the valve cover. If it doesn't come off easily, just make sure that all your bolts are unscrewed. Removing the valve cover, you want to take note of where the RTV is. There's 6 points. You also want to make sure you get a good brake cleaner, some paper towels, and a little scraper to remove the old RTV and clean up the surface of that valve cover before reinstalling the new one. Usually those square points on the valve cover gasket will let you know where the RTV is supposed to go. There is 6 points on this one, so just be mindful. And one of the couple of last steps, you're going to have to remove all of the rubber gaskets off of the bolts that are holding down the valve cover and replace those. And here's pictures of the torque specs and the torque sequence, 18 bolts in total. Do everything in reverse order, and you're a mechanic now.